Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Lairdinho. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today by no one. Just me today. Supposed to be Sorare Andrews. And one half of Sorare Andrews was like, hey, I can't go today. And as you can see, I'm here. So it's Black who is the reason there's no Sorare Andrews today. Don't worry, we're going to do it tomorrow. Sorare Andrews on Friday. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Because we don't even have a topic. Anyway, thank you to everybody for coming in. Jesper Aguilera, first in. Fraxi, second, and Ricky Lomas. That's right, only one Andrew. Don't worry, there'll be two tomorrow. Don't you worry. So yeah, thank you, or congrats to you three on the podium. Who else we got here? Rude 2021 or 2021. Oh, I like that. I like that. I should have probably corrected that. Anyway, Stefan, what's up? Palmwa, I left Sorare in 2021 because I refused to pay 800 pounds for Kami Fukimoto. No, I didn't buy him, but I'm back in 2024 enjoying it more than I did then. Yeah, that was a tricky part of back then. Anyway, Toby, what's up? Risu, since it's a solo show and I was always curious, please take out your favorite book from the bookshelf and talk a bit about it. Need inspiration for Christmas shopping. So, fun fact, I've never read a book in my entire life. All of the talk about books is just for show. No, I'm just kidding. I have not read all of these. So I will preface by saying some of these I have not read. A few of them I have started to read, and it's so daunting. Like the first one I have here, this is a biography of JP Morgan called Morgan, American Financier. And if you look, it's a big book. It's got about 600 and just under 700 pages, 689 pages. And the print is just tiny. Can you even, yeah, there we go. And every time I take it out, I'm like, I'll read this. And man, I just can't do it. I was a history major. I love history. I'm into biographies, but this one is just daunting. But I will say that the book that I really enjoy is, look at that, didn't even have a look back, Range. This was a great book. I believe I talked to Sorare USA, Fripp, about this when I got it. But yeah, why generalists triumph in a specialized world. And it's basically all about being good at a lot of things. The whole like jack of all trades, master of none, be a jack of all trades. Great book. And then, yeah, then it's a bunch that I haven't read and probably never will. That one next to it, Stuff Matters. That's actually the last book I've read. This was a good one too. All about, different things that help make our world go round. So yeah, there you go. Tuggy, what's up? Bruzel, hey, I'm going to catch as much as I can before this lunch break ends. I was going to say we'll hurry through it, but what are we hurrying through? Surface, what's up? Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Malky, hello. Ryan Walter, Laird solo back-to-back days, then 9 hours in a car to watch 60 minutes of youth soccer. Rough week for Lairdinho. I was on with Haber yesterday. I've had a guest. In fact, 3 shows, 4 guests. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 guests this week. So Ryan, maybe you're on a different schedule. Anyway, Agent Cooper says, I know the right thing to do is probably sell my classic gallery and play in season, but that means going from 50 lineups to probably 5. In season also feels a bit soulless and short term. Ooh, that's fun. We can get into that. So Burrow, what's up? Mikey Bastin. Sounds very full moonish. The only acceptable reason for not being on Sorare Andrews is Blake is already pre-gaming for Sorare After Dark. Oh, Black, excuse me, is already pre-gaming for Sorare After Dark, which I doubt. Yeah, I doubt as well. I didn't ask, to be honest. He was just like, hey, I can't do Thursday. And yeah, none of my business. Although I guess it's literally my business. This is my livelihood at stake that he is playing with. Anyway, Malky said, we all know you'd rather read a book about Lewis Morgan. It's a good line. Should have started reading JP Morgan when the eyesight was still good. My reading eyesight is perfectly fine. I wear glasses normally. Well, I wear contacts, but I'm a glasses wearer. But it's for distance, not for up close. So I could read that book, no problem, Mike. Scozer, what's up? Ryan Walter, I meant tomorrow, was unaware Black was joining Friday. My mistake. Ah, okay. So you're getting ahead of yourself. So yeah, no. I mean, I've done back to back. Maybe I haven't done back to back solo shows. I don't know. I don't know. I like them. I think they're fun. And I hope you guys enjoy them and find them helpful. And or not helpful, just entertaining, because sometimes you just need to have me. Fabio Barbosa, hello from Portugal. Hello. What is hello in Portuguese? It's probably something very similar to, well, actually, I don't want to say that. Hello in Portuguese. Hola. Oh, it is. Or is it hola? Looked like there was an accent on the A. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming in. The topic today is not really something that's going to take the whole time. Because, like, how much can we talk about telling people what to do when we're not actually telling them what to do? Also, this is not financial advice. Might be a little game advice, though. Who knows? Whatever doesn't get me in trouble. But there are a few things that happened this week, including one today, where I was talking to someone that I stream with fairly regularly who did not stream today, or excuse me, this week. Was not Andy. And we were talking about a situation that somebody was describing to us, and he was like, man, they still play Sorare like it's 2021. And I realized that, coupled with yesterday's show with Haber, all about how he has changed his whole plan of playing like it's 2021 and playing like it's 2024, has like just done wonders for him. And I think more people need to do this, because we keep seeing the same, I was going to call them complaints, because suggestions that start with Sorare have to is not really a suggestion anymore. But it seems like a lot of people are kind of coming up with these ideas of ways to fix Sorare that are effectively ways to bring Sorare back to where it was 2 and 3 years ago, while ignoring the truth of why that game didn't work and why they had to change the game. And in addition to people kind of making all of these suggestions, and again, they're suggestions that start with Sorare have to, which they don't. They don't. And that's not me saying that everything is perfect, but I'm one of these people, and I realize it's probably a poor character trait, but I can be extremely stubborn, petty even, that when somebody says something to me where they're like, you have to do this, and like I know that I don't, I will, like, I'm one of those people who just like will go out of my way to make sure I don't do it. And so the constant suggestions to Sorare of, you guys have to do this in order to do this, which inevitably is just to make my cards worth more money. If I was at Sorare, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not even gonna think about it, because that's just the way I am. So you guys should feel lucky that I don't work at Sorare. Anyway, so the whole thing about playing Sorare today is that it's very different from how we played basically before January. And the more I thought of this, the more I was reminded about a conversation in a Discord that I'm trying to look it up here. And I don't think he would be upset that I shared this, because it happened a long time ago. This was in February. And it's something that I think about a lot, actually, because while I don't necessarily think they're wrong, I do think, meaning I don't, excuse me, let me start that all over. While I don't completely agree with what they said, I do think that there was an element of, I don't want to call it truth, but maybe it is. And it's gotten me, that this actually started me thinking about ways that I needed to change my gallery. And to be honest, I haven't changed that much. If you look at my gallery now, I'm playing Sorare in 2021 80% of the time while using the other 20% to play 2024 Sorare. I haven't made the jump. And that's not to say that like what Haber did is what everybody needs to do, sell all their classic cards and focus on just like what they want to focus on and what they're experts on and reduce everything. Like that's probably what a lot of people should do and they don't. But and just looking at my gallery, you can see that I don't do that. That I very much still focus on classic competition, excuse me, and I don't want to give away cards that I've had for a long time because I do have a bit of an affinity towards cards that I've accumulated, and it's just absolutely perfect timing. And Quinny shows up right now when I talk about how there are cards in my gallery that I love and do nothing for what I'm trying to do in 2024 Sorare, and yet I keep them because they make me happy. But so I'm going to read this comment, and it was from Skosmo, who is not as active on Sorare now. He did have a pretty solid finish in Super Rare Champion in season recently, like 2 game weeks or just before the international break. But Skosmo is really not enjoying Sorare now. I'll put it that way. And this is something that he said back in February that I think about all the time. So he was basically saying how Sorare would rather get $1 million in revenue every year from 1 million users versus $1 million in revenue from 1,000 users. And the idea was they are in this phase of needing to get more users. And a lot of the moves that they were doing essentially were aimed at bringing in more users, which felt like it was hurting existing users. The move to in-season, where classic competitions became kind of secondary, which is all that we knew and what all of us built our galleries around. And he said, I believe they will sacrifice the first 10,000 users for the next 1 million. Like that line specifically has stuck with me since February. And while I don't think that Sorare are choosing to sacrifice their early users, I think it's clear that in order for their platform to develop and grow, they can't rely on the original 10,000 users. And while they don't have 1 million users now, they have more than 10,000. And I think it's more than 10,000 that probably, well, maybe it's not more than 10,000 that feel like they're the ones being sacrificed. There are a number of users who were part of that original group and have adjusted to the new gameplay and love it. And there are some who don't. And Sorry, Josh said every modern business prioritizes new users over existing ones. And I completely agree with that. I think the issue is that there is a group of users who have been on the platform for a very long time who don't feel like they're not being prioritized. They actually feel like they're being sacrificed. And the issue that I come to is that I'm guessing if you were one of the first 10,000, and maybe 10,000 is not the right number, but if you were somebody who is one of the first 10,000, which I would equate to pre-Gary V, but I could be wrong, you were probably massively profitable and successful at this game. And I've mentioned before, I think a lot of those people were very profitable without being good at the game. And so when the game changed, they couldn't adjust because they weren't good at it anyway. And I'm not saying Skosmo fits into that because I actually have always loved the way that Skosmo attacks this game. And I feel bad that he doesn't enjoy it anymore, because I used to talk to him all the time about players and strategies, and it was a lot of fun. And I think the new game kind of took that away from, certainly from him, because he didn't, just the way that it's set up with, he mostly played super rare. He did unique a lot. He made a big push to unique during the Cap 240 introduction, and every subsequent change of the game felt like it was not directly, like not negatively impacting him directly. Yeah. But the priorities were clearly elsewhere, and he was just kind of left behind in terms of like so rare priorities of the game, that super rare and unique is kind of overlooked. It's overlooked, even though they've acknowledged it's different, but they don't really know how to fix it. And I think there are plenty of people who are like Scosmo in this respect, that they came into a game that they loved, and it turned out that game really wasn't able to last. And so they had the fun, got their profits, and when Sorare changed everything in order to make sure that they existed in 2024 and 2025 and so on, they had to change the game in a way that negatively impacted those existing users. And it feels like we're now in basically a transition phase of older users who loved a game that couldn't last are now being replaced by new users, or some of the old ones who look at this new game and they're like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. And I mean, that was my whole conversation last Friday of, I think the game today is great. And if I was not a new user, if I was not an existing user and I saw Sorare, I would be really into that. And even I have like negative feelings about Sorare occasionally because of all of the learning that I did over the 3 years to make me better prepared for the game now, which is bullshit. Nothing, didn't learn anything. I just spent a ton of money to get a bunch of cards that I don't really play that much anymore, or I do when they don't win anything. And it 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 it's taken me time to adjust. Like, I wasn't somebody who jumped in season right away. I was actually going to go back and kind of look to see like how I've done over this time of in season, because there are, like, I've had some success, but I don't really know how much, because I had kind of existing cards that I turned in season and stuff like that. But I do kind of want to go back, because I'm starting to make a little bit more of a push into new competitions in season in order to win cash. And it feels like, and again, I don't think Sorare is sacrificing these users, but I am sort of considering, like, I think about that, right or wrong. I think about that line a lot. Sorry, I jumped out of the chat. Ryan said, didn't the OG 10,000 basically stop depositing? Wasn't the writing on the wall? So the answer is yes, they did. And I think there's a difference when you're the one who's winning all this money and reinvesting it into the platform. You kind of forget that you didn't deposit. And so you're just like, man, I put so much money in this platform because it was money that you won and kept in the platform. And so you consider like more and more money going in, and Sorare is like, hey, like no new money's coming in. And like that, yes, that was the problem. Like that was like the biggest problem that Sorare had to face, was that there were too many users who were winning too much money from Sorare and not spending any more money. And when new users don't come in, what happens? And what happens is they have to change the game. Toby said, isn't most of that just the OG guys being really entitled? I don't know if it's entitled. Like it probably looks entitled from the outside, but like they don't feel that way. Like they genuinely feel like Sorare, I don't want to say pulled the rug because like we're all still here, but the game that they bought into doesn't exist anymore, and that upsets them. And I get it. I get it. Looking for food said, as a 2021 user, Sorare owes me nothing. They want to change things. I will adapt until I get tired of adapting. So I think that's a great point, like a great way to look at it. But I think that there are enough people who are getting tired of adapting. Bruzel says, I don't think it's so crazy to not cater to or build your product to appease customers who stopped paying 3 years ago. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. Alan said, high stakes so rare, like other high stakes games, is going to have a couple big winners and 100 whales. So Josh said, but then we have to ask, what was Scosmo doing in a 6-month period transition phase? He had more than enough time to adjust. No, and he did adjust. Like I said, like he had a near podium in Super Rare in season like 2 weeks ago. So he did adjust. I think you could also make the argument that the adjustment is a little easier when you're not a full Super Rare and unique gallery. And I realize that's like a small portion of the platform, but there are a lot of outspoken original users who are in that position. Goose said, is sacrificing short-term enjoyment for long-term success for everybody, or is choosing enjoyment over success also a way to play? I mean, if you're not enjoying it, then obviously you're not being successful. I don't think anybody like. I don't think we're sacrificing. So for some reason, my mouth is not working. I absolutely scorched my entire mouth eating lunch just before this stream. And I didn't think it was a big deal. And literally, I can't even speak on some words. Anyway, looking for food said, in addition, another Web3 football game is shutting down this month. I'm okay with Sorare doing what they do to survive. Yeah, I mean, that's another good point. And kind of helps explain why talking about Sorare sustainability is not worthless. Like we talk about it a lot. We're probably done. But the reason we do that is because like we want it to keep going. And yeah, with what is it called? Pookie. Fraxi said, can you say they were sacrificed when they won and got their profit? They got what they signed up for and everything changes with time. So I think you can say that they were sacrificed even though they won. And they didn't really get what they signed up for. What they signed up for was being able to do this forever. Now, looking back and knowing like what we know now, obviously that it wasn't going to work. But there was no reason for anyone back then to think it wouldn't work because like it was working. I mean, as far as we could tell. Like it was working until it stopped working. MDG77 says, I'm an OG. I am one too. I mean, Mike said, you can see the changes within the community of these streams. Old faces drift away, don't watch live or just stop commenting. So many new faces in the past 12 months. Yeah, I think like I said, I think it's like a legitimate changing of the guard. And a lot of things that people worry about really have nothing to do with them. And if we all just like spent more time focusing on like doing our best in the game, then maybe we'd be all right. Fred the Almighty said, Sorare updated the game to exactly what I've always wanted it to be. That's why I've won contender in season D1 limited twice. Wow. That's awesome. MGG said, I would not be surprised with a big change in the game again, but I will still continue playing because it's fun for me still. Yeah, I mean, once it stops being fun, that's when we all need to decide if we really want to play. Alan said, I think there's evidence that Sorare is doing more than surviving right now. Is there? What's the evidence? Connor said, adapting to the essence and market credits nerfs after they said they wouldn't make changes to January hurts. That's a really interesting one. Because I guess I didn't consider it. And I think I feel differently now, but I didn't consider changing the payouts to be a massive adjustment versus like to warrant like one of these January or August announcements. And obviously the more that we play, the like it was a massive change. So yes, it probably should have been in there. But like when they announced it, like, oh, we're adjusting it, which was just like the nice way of saying we're lowering it. But I didn't think like, oh, this is such a major change that it should have happened in January. And man, reward boxes are so boring right now that yeah, I guess I was wrong. Connor said, I'd love to buy Belgian cards to stack Essence for MLS, but I'm not sure if they will allow 2024 Essence to win 2025 cards. I don't trust them anymore. Bruzel said, Connor, that's not adapting, that's reacting, sadly. I don't know. I don't know. I will say that if Essence becomes seasonal, none of us can say we didn't think that that was a possibility, because everyone here and Peter Stoyanov has talked about it plenty, that it's like, not that it's a possibility, but it's like, it's something they could do. So yes, a possibility. Meaning it's not something that like Sorare have told us like, oh, we might do this, but it's out there now. We know that it's a possibility. Charlie said, you can't expect them to wait until February to change Essence and potentially oversell cards and left unable to reward cards later in the year. The change was a must from their point of view. Yeah, I mean, that's clearly why they did it. And so, but it didn't feel like a change that, like, I think it was a big enough change that it should have waited, but obviously they couldn't, like they were going to run out. And so, yeah. MDG, would you continue to play even if the rewards would only be cosmetics? I mean, no money for anybody anymore. I wouldn't pay nearly as much as I do now. No chance if it was just cosmetics. I think we have to remember that the value of the cash that we win or the value of the cards that we win help us understand if we're doing well in the game. And cosmetics, I don't see how cosmetics can do that. Andrea said you could win 2024 cards with 2023 Essence. So it seems likely you'll be able to. For example, saying Euro Essence meant you could craft new cards. Naturally, it might change. I think that's the point. It could change. Ryan said, if Essence is seasonal, that's fine, but they need to decide that and figure it out. The support comment saying boxes don't expire, but they expire at the end of the year is a problem. Wait, the support comment saying boxes don't expire, but who said they expire at the end of the year? Or you're saying if they do? Yeah, I mean, if they announce, hey, Essence is going to expire, I think this is much harder than they think, because like Contender and Challenger are year-round competitions. And so it's like, at what point, like there are times right now, but like right now we have 2024 MLS cards in Challenger competing with 2024, 25 cards in for European cards, and we'll get the 2025 MLS cards in February. And so there's overlap on one of them. One of them is going to be different. And so, I mean, hopefully if they're going to do it, they need to do it and announce it. And that, I think, would be a January announcement, not just like oh, hey, this is what we're going to do. But again, like I don't know. Toby said the year-round competitions make it really messy to separate it. Right. Like at what point does it stop? And do they want a run of people crafting cards at the end of whatever the deadline is? Like there's just gonna be a rut, like everybody with the coin shop, and they're like, oh yeah, the coin shop's ending. Everybody had to spend their coins. Like, do you want everybody to be crafting cards at the end of the season? Now, obviously, we don't want to do that because the where was I going with that? Oh, because like we're getting cards that we can't use in season, but it also essentially means nobody is going to hold essence. Like we'll all just craft at tier 5 and go nuts. Mike said, we caused essence to be nerfed continually, crafting a 20 essence. How they envisioned essence working was not what we did in reality. Like, Mike, I know what you're saying, but I'd love to know how they thought essence would be used before it was implemented, because it does feel like it was way different than they expected. And if they are now thinking like, oh yeah, we'll just keep it low and that's it, or what? Surface said, Sorare's in a tough position now. SO5 is generally really strong, but classic comps and divisions are problematic right now, gameplay wise, and community sentiment reflects that, which isn't helping. I think more people in the community, and I think it sides more on newer users, but I think more people generally like divisions than dislike them. Like I don't see more than a handful of OG, and obviously like I'm in a social media bubble, so it's not like I see what everybody says, but I generally, the anti-division rhetoric is not prolific, and it's generally from OG whales, and that's not like calling Surface out, but it's generally like people who have had success for a long time on this platform are the ones who don't like divisions. Now, I think some of them are okay with divisions, but just not how they're implemented, like doing it every single game week because they buy big, very expensive cards and then get in Division 2 and can't get out of Division 1. And I don't mind it that much. I really don't. I think doing like some sort of rolling average makes more sense, but I personally just don't mind it. And I've been relegated from Division 1 plenty. MDG said, I started in February of 2021. At the beginning, I was only focused to get my ROI back, but then I got involved in the game and start to see the game that I never would just for fun. Yeah, I mean, Sorare brings out way more than just like the amount of football that we all know because of Sorare is absurd. Like, honestly. Goose said, I'm bored by Essence. I'm not excited winning Essence anymore. Is this something that other people feel, or is it just me because I don't want to win cards because I'll sell them anyway? I'm not, like, I love Essence. I love the idea. I've loved it from day one, even the name, the concept. I've never said a negative thing about Essence ever. But now it's like the process is a little boring because you're just so far away. Like each time you get it and you're like, one limited essence, and you're like, man, this was not the progress bar I signed up for. Malky said, I think your stream the other day was a good way of showcasing the new game. Thank you, Malky. I don't think we should be telling people how they should or shouldn't play, so your presentation of the pros and cons of classic and in-season was the right approach. People don't like to be told what to do. You know what, Malky? I'm going to disagree with you. I think people love to be told what to do because if it goes wrong, they can blame someone else. But that's probably a conversation for another day. Bithorse said, I think Essence was fine until they added it to in-season. Doing this doubled the amount of Essence they were giving out, hence why they had to nerf it. I do wonder if all of the Essence calculations and projections internally were done based on just Classic getting it. And when it was changed to in-season, it did exactly what they wanted. It pushed more people to buy in-season cards, which is what they have to do. Like, that's how they make money. But it did feel like all of a sudden it was like, wait, why is there so much Essence or so many cards being crafted and they were like, oh shoot, we got to pull back. Mike said they thought a guaranteed tier 1 or tier 0 is what we wanted, and so they created structure as to how to get there. That's not wrong. You're not wrong. And like, I consider doing it. I held to until a tier 3, but like it's not even like the percentages are that high to like craft good cards. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, once you have, I don't even know. I don't think I can craft anything. Well, I know I can't craft anything right now, but let's see. What can we craft? Or yeah, I think it came down to there were too many people who just crafted. So like half of a percent to get a limited at the lowest threshold. I'm sorry, half a percent to get a star, 1.5% to get a tier 1. Like, is that too high? Like, that was the problem when, when 1,000 people, or excuse me, when 100 people are crafting cards on a Tuesday, 2 of them are getting a star or limited, and way more than 100 people were crafting. Bruzel, back to work in my Sorare steps. See you in the future while I build lineups tonight. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for coming, Bruzel. Good luck with your steps. Ryan said, when Sir Seattle talk about divisions? I'm trying. We had a little scheduling balance that didn't work, but I'm trying. Rigamon said, sure, Laird, LOL, and I don't remember what I said that would have warranted that. Andrea said, if everyone had crafted at 100, it still would have been an issue. The total amount of essence was the bigger problem, not the amount of cards crafted at 20. Yeah, well, I think it was. Yeah, ultimately, it's the number. It's how many people were crafting. It didn't matter where. 1 essence or a level up. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I just have a lot of level ups, and not a lot of essence. So, do still wonder why they thought adding it to in season was needed. I think did they do this? Did they add it before early access cards were being sold? Does anyone remember when they added in season? Excuse me, when they added boxes to in season? Like, obviously the point was to make us want to buy more in season cards, and it worked. Tom said, I'm not sure that what they thought we would do, but expecting no one to do the math and us to not do the most optimal strategy for using essence isn't the user's fault. Yeah, I agree. Alan said, the quote, trust the team, unquote, talk has always kind of boggled the mind. I don't trust them at all, never have, but don't think that's a problem. They're not my friends. I like the game they made. That's a great line. Charlie said, I think the odds are too good at 20 essence that there's little point going forward. I mean, it's 2%. 2% for a tier 1 or better. That does seem too good, right? Where do I... Yeah, 7% to get a tier 2 or better. You're right. It does seem a little too good. And Toby said the odds look fine. They just gave out too much. Rui said, in essence, it shouldn't be possible to get a tier 0 or tier 1 in the first step. In the first step, it should only be possible to get a tier 4 or tier 5. So the problem with that, Rui, is that if that's the case, then nobody crafts a tier 4 and 5. And now everybody's crafting tier 3s, tier 2, tier 1. And now they don't have enough cards to do that either. MDJ, I was just about to add this, and I think this is a slam dunk for them. The only thing that Essence would be nice for me is to get cards to complete my collections. Totally. let me use 20 essence to buy a card that I don't want to spend $3 on or 30 cents on. Toba said if in season was 25% from the start and overall essence was adjusted down a little, it would have been fine. I mean, maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll change it. Because, but I think maybe they were getting worried that people weren't going to buy cards. And so they just needed to make it as valuable as possible to do that. Surfer said Classic has been less interesting than people were hoping. The results versus rewards are just not great from a gameplay perspective. You get one player who doesn't score 70 and you're instantly capped at tier 3 or best. I don't think you're wrong, but I also think that your perspective isn't a fair indication of most users. And that's because you are wildly successful. And so I say that, and I was like, there are plenty of people who would be happy to win a tier 3, but man, I have won some terrible tier 3s. But the Classic has been less interesting than people were hoping. That's what is making me take a second to think about this, because like the Classic rewards are the same that they've always been, right? It's just the cards. And you could say like, oh no, the cash is gone, even though they're giving out like almost $50,000 in cash to Classic comps every year, every week, game week, maybe weekend game week. But obviously we don't have threshold, and so we have to go somewhere else to win our cash. But ultimately we're still just competing for cards, which is what we've always done. And maybe we're competing for fewer cards because we have to have some for crafting, and the in-season people are winning the crafting, like getting more essence because of the boxes. I do wonder how many people would like. There were a lot of people who were not going to play in season. I'm pulling this thing where I talked to like 5 people who said this, and I'm like, everybody says this, but there are plenty of people who were not going to play in season and decided to play in season specifically for essence. And I would almost argue they have more of a argument than people who've been around for 5 years who are upset about Classic. Connor said 50% of in-season being rewarded with a box was the problem, in my opinion. 270 points gets a box, which is just too low. Totally agree. Looking for Fu said they added essence to in-season. All the content creators said they will just do Classic. I love blaming content creators on things. I absolutely love it. Mike said it was added essence and in-season, or excuse me, reward boxes in-season were added about a month into the champ season. I didn't think so. Zibisk said it was before early access. Abrico said, I play only Classic and I still enjoy the game. That's good. Andrea said boxes were added when they showed the prize pools, which was earlier than the start of preseason sales, July 11th to be exact. Is the blog dated? Any chance we can go all the way back in the blog? What's going on here? Football, all sports. Gameplay updates. The future of fantasy sports. Let's see. What was the date here? July 11th. Let's go. $15 million. Special weeklies. Early access. %50. The top 50% in each division will win a reward box. Okay. Upon launch, reward boxes will contain essence or market credits. Market credits are exclusive to reward boxes won in-season comps. Okay. So July 11th. So before the season. Rikamon said they could have lowered the amount of essence given out by adding more things to the boxes, like they have talked about. Like they've talked about adding things to the boxes, and they have both not added anything and stopped talking about it, and never actually said what they would be. Hilo said it'd be interesting to be able to use 20 essence to select exactly which tier 5 you get. That would be interesting. I don't even need the exact card. Let me just show you the collections I want to add to. And if there's a tier 5 in there you can give me, bring them in. Mike said, how can Classic be less interesting when it was mainly the game we had before? Is it just because the cards are less valuable? I think there is part of that, but I think obviously like the lack of threshold means there were a lot of people who bought like a lot of cards. I'm one of them, including super rares that I bought like specifically for threshold because it was like buy this card once and win cash forever. And I was like, that sounds great. How could anything go wrong? And it all went wrong. It all went wrong. Excuse me. Johnny T said people will have carried on today in the past market of 1 to 2 years ago to the amount of people who have now stopped buying. Why didn't they fix their bots from keeps? Wow, sorry, there's a lot going on here. People have carried on today in the past market of 2 years ago. So there are not as many people in the market today as there were 1 to 2 years ago. And why didn't they fix the bots that keep selling at rock bottom listing prices? Bots saved this platform. You will never convince me otherwise. Tuggy said, imagine if they gave an option, higher percentage of getting a tier 4 or 5 from a target group of teams, collection building targeted, or a very low percentage of hitting a jackpot, but from the entire pool. Yeah, I think there are ways that they could play around with it. Alan said, I don't think Surface is totally wrong. Did I say he was totally wrong? Some folks definitely don't like Classic, but I don't think they're leaving at a rate, no evidence that Sorare thinks it's a problem. So, Alan, I think you're totally right about that. I don't think nearly enough people are leaving that Sorare is like having to take notice. The problem is that the people who want to leave feel stuck, and they feel stuck because they don't want to realize huge losses on their cards. And for the two reasons of taking those losses is just mentally really hard. And two, if something happens and Sorare changes the game again, and all of a sudden tier 4 super rares from Contender are the most sought after cards on the platform, we're rich. So I think there's like this hedge of like, I don't want to give up too early because what if it bounces back? And realistically, it's not going to, based on where the game is now. But like taking those losses is just really hard for people. Like I'm not doing it. I was gonna say I could easily sell most of my cards. Like I could for 3 cents on the dollar, and I just don't want to. I'd rather keep them and play them. Because like I forget who it was before, they were like, I'd rather 50 lineups than 5. Yeah, I mean the number of lineups I put out every week, it's like cool. Every so often I win one. It's great. Joe said I didn't play in season, but gave in very late season. One more doing that than playing classic all season. The Haber said it yesterday, but like the best thing about in-season competitions is once you're in Division 1, and frankly, even Division 2, each game week you have an opportunity to win more than you bought in for. And that's really attractive for a lot of people. Ryan said, in my opinion, Classic is fine if this is how it is from now on. It was always going to feel underwhelming with no cash and scores constantly increasing. You can still win decent rewards, but will, of course, take time since the utility is so long. Yeah. Agent Cooper said, am I the only one who thinks Essence will be scrapped? Ultimately, what is the point of it if your box has 1 or 3 Essence in it? What purpose does it serve now? I'd rather just win cards for higher scores. I don't think they're going to scrap it, no. Goose said, classic is as boring or as interesting as it ever was, in my opinion, but winning big became increasingly harder, which makes classic increasingly less fun. The only time classic was more fun was when boxes had cards. Yep. Boxes and cards were fun. MDG said, my classic cards have 4% bonus plus 2 or 3% from collections. Sold everything, make new collections with in-season cards, and next year we'll play classic with cards with at least 17%. High bonus cards are so fun to have. Quinny said, I now own more cards than I ever have before, eclipsing my previous all-time high when I had 100 plus limiteds. I bet, well, let's see. If anybody is curious how they know, you can just go to your gallery and go to manager stats. And if you scroll down, it'll show you, oh my God, that is so many cards. So the top is the value and the bottom is cards owned. And yeah, as you can see, I own more cards now. 1,000. Wow, I hit 1,000. 1,033 cards I now own. Now that's broken, like that's different sports. So I have, where are we here? There we go. 600 football, 260 baseball, really? And 170 basketball. Jeez. That's a lot. I don't know why I keep moving. God, that's a lot of cards. Yay, collections. Goose said the other part of classic being less fun is less cards being viable to win decent rewards. I think it's always been the case, to be honest. Alan said, also the high prices we paid on cards back then were to compete for high price rewards. We all knew they were going to keep printing cards. And you don't need to, like, classic cards aren't as expensive as they used to be, right? Like there's a card that I have been staring at for the last 2 days. And it's a card I never thought I would be able to buy. And I might buy it today or tomorrow. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know if I'm going to buy it yet. And part of the reason I don't know if I'm going to buy it is because I keep going back to whether I think I'm going to be able to yield enough from it. And I'm not sure I can. And it's less about whether I can yield from that card and more that like I'm going to need other cards around it to help it yield. And that's what I think about now when I think about buying cards is, can I yield enough from this card? And I would love it if I could, but I don't know. But it's a card that I'm like, this card would be amazing to have. And I can't believe that I've had enough success in this game where I can afford the card while also prices coming down have made it affordable. So I'm not sure yet. But you have to appreciate that if you are going to play classic, like the price to play classic is kind of now more in line with what you can win. And the only difficulty is that you're competing with people who have spent thousands of dollars on some cards that are now worth hundreds. And, you know, they have high XP and all that stuff. But I think even classic is still beatable if you can play the game well. Johnny said, I used to see a warning when listing a player saying this card or player has never been listed this low in red. This implementation would have saved us a lot sooner. It was not that it's never been this low, but it was like, are you sure you want to do it this low? And that was usually based on last sales or averages, or excuse me, last sales or like the floor. And so, Johnny, I don't think that would have saved anything. Trippin' B. Yes, please like the stream. Trading Me Thoughts and my name is Ryan too. Just thought I'd chuck that out there. There are like 17 Ryans in the chat right now. So shout out Ryan. Jumpshoot said, Essence is a cheap way for Sorare to reward managers. They need something that is of less value than a card, in my opinion, and so coins are dead. Sorare coins, excuse me. Yeah, Sorare coins, like it should have made sense, right? Johnny said, the robot overlords, I'm very grateful. I just wish they would have listed better because we all follow this last listing and the last sale, and I thought bots were here to save us. I mean, bots sell for what people want to pay for cards. So if the price goes down, it's because nobody's paying for it. Like you think your card is worth $20, and if a bot lists it for 10 and nobody buys it, it's your card's not even worth $10. Zibisk, the manager stats are for star members only. If you would like a 72-hour membership, star membership, just send me a message on Discord, Andrew M. Laird, or if you're not on Discord, just leave a comment in the video, not on the chat, but like in the video, and I'll get you a code for your 72 hours for free. You can make all your lineups for this game week and all that stuff. It's great. Lairdinho, excuse me, said Classic lets you own cards you didn't think you could in past seasons. It would be nice. Would be nice to win a few things with them, though. Yeah. Alan, the card does not rhyme with Schmilly and Schmbappe. Schmappe. It's not Mbappe, no. Who said Threshold made a lot of tier 3s and tier 4s viable, which they aren't as much right now, in my opinion. Yeah, they're not. I'm kind of okay with that, though. I was never in the camp that believed that Sorare needed to provide value for every card on the platform. I just don't agree. MGG said, to win something in Classic, you need 5% collection bonus and level 15 card bonus, or don't waste your time. I mean, it helps, but you can absolutely compete without that stuff. Ryan, trading me thoughts. I'm fairly new to Sorare, 6 months maybe. Personally, don't mind Classic Orient season. I currently have 4 Prem lineups, and I just want to win something. Still searching for that first card or cash reward. Let's help Ryan out. Alan said, no one would run a bot if it wasn't profitable. The fact that it is profitable is a good sign, is a good, not a bad sign for Sorare. Dan said, does it rhyme with Savicha Savarishkelia? It does not. It does not. I was looking at Cavaradonna yesterday and today, and he's dust. Mike said, how much was and is this card you never thought you could buy? The card right now this is where I'm going to go in and find that somebody bought the one that I wanted, and I haven't yet. So the card that I want now is less than $400. And at its peak was 12 grand. Although that was a one of, so maybe let's call it like 8 grand. Collections are how bad cards get value now. So speaking of this, I would love it if there was an easier way to trade collection cards with people. And like I have, and now I understand that getting cards from the secondary market is not as great for your collections, but I wish there was a way that I could, like I'm trying to see what have I gotten recently that I've won? Like this card. I crafted Lorenz Dell from, is that Austria Vienne? And if somebody, I don't want this card. If somebody had like a limited Austria Vienne, is that who it is? It is, right? Austria Klagenfurt, sorry. Klagenfurt. My fault. My fault. If somebody has an Austria Klagenfurt limited collection and they need this card, not need, but like they don't have it, and they do have something from one of my collections, like anything here except Midtjylland 2023, because I got everything, then like, let's just make a trade. Why not? But I'm too lazy to like go through like the leaderboards and find some, like, I don't want to do that. But I would love to make like tier 5 collection card trading easier. Who said in Challenger Limited Classic, most people on the podium don't have insane bonuses. Maybe that can change long term. Probably. And Alan said, I don't think we're as close to that point as people thought. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could look. It was like a Nepenthes thing to do. 25 was the last club week, right? So Challenger in season Classic, 9%, 8%, 12%, 12%, 13%. Not crazy, to be honest. And then no stack, anti-stack lineup. 496. God, this game's getting so easy. Congratulations to Rafael Varane, who won that. What do you guys think the prize was? First place, Challenger Classic Division 1. Gykrez. Ryan said, I thought you needed 550 to win Challenger. Rigoman said, the issue is why pay you 50 cents when you can just pay Sorare 80 cents and get more collection points? No, I don't even want you to buy my card. I just want to trade one. Tier 5 for tier 5. No money changed hands. That's all. That was one thing we were working on with like the card tags on Sorare data that didn't really take off because we didn't finish it. And I think we didn't finish it because enough people weren't really trying to use it. The idea was like you could unofficially list a card on Sorare data that is like in your lineup, and somebody could say, oh, I want that card. Also true, Ryan, you can't buy classic cards off the primary market. Yeah, old collections. I don't know. I do love that collections are part of the game, but you don't have to do it. Like that's something that has carried over. Mike said, so what are your 2024 collections then so that the Sorare community know who to send you? Oh, good question, Mike. My 2024 collections are, I think we can search by year. Is it a filter? Oh, bang. Midtjylland Rare, Sparta Rotterdam Limited and Rare, Racing Rare, River Plate Rare, kind of a Necaxa, and I didn't even know I had 3 Bruges players from this season. Jackers, Skav Olsen. Oh, how about that? Literally had no idea. I forgot about that. So yeah, those are them. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, like collections. That's a way to play Sorare in 2024. If you want to have more powerful cards than other people. Like that's one thing that I feel like people don't think about that much. Nepenthes thinks about it all the time, literally dreams about it. But like if you have a card, like go look up your favorite card and you can go, I guess we could just do this. What is my favorite card now? Well, let's just look at what I have right now. So I bought this card yesterday. Alessandro Buongiorno, which means good morning in Italian. And I think I can compete with this card. That card has, I believe, 7% bonus because I have now a 2% collection bonus on Napoli. And I bought the card yesterday, so it has the new season 5%. So I can just go here and see all of the cards that have more than 7%. And it's 43. Now, obviously, it's a new card. So, yes, I probably didn't have a very high-powered Buongiorno. But it is higher than some. There are 8 of them that are less, probably because of my collection bonus. And the other ones are probably from XP. But then when you look, let's see. 7 of them are, my God, 15%. I wonder if this is part of a whole. Is that 5%? Oh, yeah. GG's, Derek. Ryan said, if anybody has garbage Atlanta United cards they want to swap, I'm here. Ryan, you came to the right place. I think. I swear. There you go. Do you want this card? Efrain Morales, do you have one? Ryan Walter? Hilo said, my 14% Marcelino Moreno hits like crack when he bangs 90. I love having high XP. I agree. Jumpshoot said, wouldn't Essence be better if we could buy or sell them on the marketplace? Sorare could take a 5% cut too. Maybe. I don't know where that falls in the whole world of gambling. Garbage for garbage. Does anybody think that Ryan is going to send an offer for a card that I like? Do you think Ryan has a collection card that I could use? I'm excited to see where this happens. Andrea said, I love having high XP and collection bonus. I have Bellingham, Dembele, Hakimi, etc. with above 15. Feels like cheat codes. Jeez. Rui said, Efrain has started playing with the Bolivia national team. Paco said, I love the game, but seems like many people are leaving. Even Nacho today was a big person in the community left. I don't know what to think about the future. I think Nacho had a decision for himself. And obviously, what Sorare was providing him that he enjoyed is no longer there. But that doesn't mean that other people need to feel that way. Tuggy said, or I could be a nice guy and just help a loyal listener. No, that's not how it works. There's no loyalty when it comes to Sorare collection swapping, Tuggy. Have you ever seen LaRouche Gallery Lairdinho? 18% Messi. That's very high Messi. I'm not asking for charity. Way to be, Ryan. XP's, I love XP. I love that it feels like you're being rewarded for holding cards, and I love that having a competitive, what feels like a competitive advantage. And collection bonus certainly is certainly pushing me in a way that I get more of, just so I could benefit from more bonuses on my cards. Like these Napoli, I wanted to buy 2 Napoli cards yesterday, and I ended up with 5 in order to get the collection bonus. So this Cyril Ganja, it was as you can see, it's a special edition. And this Nikita Contini and Rafa Marin were wrapped cards, so they could have been special edition. but they weren't. And like this Jordan Boss card I have is a jersey mint, and I bought that in order to boost my Haspelot. This Jakob Briam was a jersey mint. Gustav Isaacson's a jersey mint. And this Teji was a mistake. Mike said, should XP be capped at level 20 nowadays, or would increasing top end improve things? Why would I don't know. Why do we need it? Like, why do we need more? Like, are there that many cards at level 20 that we need to give them more? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think the fact that you can still accumulate XP over level 20 is good, though, because like you can buy card. Like there was a card I saw yesterday that had 47,000 XP. And so if you bought that card, it's actually just short. It would be at level 19, which is crazy. Like after it cuts half of the XP, it gets to there. So yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I like XP. Nobody knows how it's calculated, but it's fun. Yeah. Mike says, I don't even know what the actual XP figure is on my level 20s. I mean, you can look at it right on Sorare. I don't think we have the actual numbers. But like, who do you have? Yuzira Osipenko? Is that level 20? Of course it is. So like this card, Mike has. It's right here. Just under 33,000. Oh, and you used a boost. Fun card, Mike. Yeah, anyway. Oh. We have an offer for Ryan. From Ryan. Let's see what we got here. What collection do we think it is? Let me go back. What collection? I'm going to guess it's limited only because that's fair. I'm a little embarrassed, but this counts. Well, okay. Let's see. Thibaut Summers, Circle Bruges. So the only card I can think of that I have in this collection is Hans van der Bruggen, who has the 2 thumbs up. I think I'm almost certain about that. Oops. And he's my only card in the collection, even though I own 2 of them. Ryan, I'm not sure this was the collection I was looking to boost, but I'll accept it. Let's see what Ryan's Atlanta United collection looked like. Oh, you only have 10? At least you have the GOAT in there. All right. Who got you that card? You know what's funny is I actually, where did it go? Is this the one? Yeah, Keith got me this card, didn't he? Yeah. So this card is a jersey and age mint also. 28. So shout out to Gator Guy, but I also have 2 of them. Not obviously of that number. The other one I have is 9 of 100. Look at that, 2 rewards. A little threshy. That's what the non-jersey meant. Does the jersey meant one mean anything? Look at that. I won Danny Ings rare. Cat 220 rare. I somehow decided this Hans Vanderbruggen 377. Let's see what that lineup looked like before we go here. So now what did I say? 377? Cap 220. RIP. There it is. Thomas Durso, Lachlan Jackson, Hans Vanderbruggen, Chris Durkin, and Takashi Usami. Lowest score of the group. Oh no, sorry. He beat out Jackson by 0.9. Oh, did Tuggy get me the... Sorry, Tuggy. Did he give me the 9? Oh, you did. I wonder why you wanted Rodrigo Guth, who's actually been pretty good this season. So this is a really funny line, and this is probably another conversation for another time. But Ryan was like, both cards are basically worth 90 cents. But yeah, it's not a great offer. Like I said, I'm slightly biased, slightly embarrassed. Ryan, there is no way either of those cards is worth 90 cents. No chance. But I'm a man of my word. And so, oh, sorry, hold on. I forgot I wasn't done. Oh, sorry, I got to put in my authentication number, Ryan, and then the card is yours. There you go. All yours, Ryan. And now Tebow Summers has been added to my collection. I think this is probably one of the worst collections on Sorare. Oh, Rao Yao, he's been not bad. Who are these guys? Oh, Dino Hotich. Man. That's how you know you're a Sorare OG, if you know Dino Hotich. Mike said I think he meant 9 cents. I'm not even sure it's worth 9 cents. Tebow Summers is a usable card. Come on. Come on. Where is this a usable card? I'm thankful to Ryan for helping with my collection. Charles Van Hoot is on Tuggy's watch list. Yeah, he took set pieces for a little bit a while ago. And then Puertos took over. Ricamon said Tebow was up at like 7 pounds classic at the start of the season. Get out. Wow. Wait a minute. Why would somebody pay $40? Did I miss the Belgian Cap 220 Classic Comp announcement? Yeah. All right. Ryan, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And honestly, if anybody is looking, go through my gallery. You can tell which cards I don't use because I don't have a collection on them. But there are plenty. And I'm happy to do a trade just like I did with Ryan. Because, yeah, why not? Simple as that. Why not? Lairdinho, different Ryan, said he was expected to be good this season. I think he had some concussion problems. Oh, that can happen. So it's funny. There was a time where I thought Lairdinho and Ryan Walter were the same person. But they're not. They're not. So yeah, anyway, thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. And yeah, keep those collection offers coming. I'm happy to entertain them if they make sense. And yeah, keep them coming. Sorare Andrews tomorrow. Friday, Sorare Andrews. Who knows what shenanigans will happen? maybe it'll actually be like a totally serious conversation about a very specific topic that is extremely helpful and informative. Or it'll be a regular Sorare Andrews. We'll see. Anyway, thank you to everybody for coming, and don't forget to get those steps in.